how to increase the faith and taste in chanting Hare Krishna mantra is a basic question. And that taste is not coming because of living around, being surrounded by many devotees of different levels and different levels of types of devotees. Then we often, in interacting with devotees in the course of our seva, we find that we may become, knowingly or unknowingly, commit offenses. Knowingly or unknowingly commit offenses. So how do we transcend this tendency to make offenses and get taste and faith in the holy name? That's quite a lot of things. Well, the general answer is given everywhere in Shastra, of course, is we can't underestimate the value of sadhu sangha. But unfortunately, knowing your situation and living in Vrindavan, it's very, very difficult to attain sadhu sangha. First of all, it's a fruit. Sadhu sangha, high class and qualified sadhu sangha, is a fruit of seva that one gains by pleasing Krishna. When one is genuinely pleasing Krishna with their seva, then the real blessing is sadhu sangha. Because all of Krishna's blessings come through Diksha Guru, and all of Krishna's blessings come through Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. In general, we can say sadhu. Sadhu Kripa, Guru Kripa, Vaishnav Kripa. It's told in Shastra that the sadhu, he's the Krishna Shakti, Kripa Shakti Murti. He's the form of Krishna's mercy. So the mercy comes, everything will come from the sadhu sangha, by hearing from him. As far as taste in the holy name, 2 reactions I want to give here. First, I want to talk about the nervousness and the attitude that a devotee may have towards Namaparad and the first offense, sadhu ninda. And knowing you and how many years you're practicing bhakti bhajan in this life, and not knowing how many years in your previous life, whatever type of bhakti bhajan you've been doing, it's so pleasing to Krishna that he has given you Brajavas. If you read Mathura Mahatmyam by Rupa Goswami Pad, there are many, many verses there quoting the Puranas which say that one cannot live for 1 minute in Braj Mandal without the mercy of Hari. So Krishna is very merciful and kind to his devotees, Bhaktavatsalya. So sometimes, I'll speak specifically about you because you're a Brijvasi, you're born maybe in Delhi, but that doesn't matter. You're living almost quite a long time, long time in Vrindavan, and you're married to a great devotee, engaged in the most wonderful service in Vrindavan. We speak very general, we don't speak names here in our Sangha, of missions or gurus, that's our rule, game rules. So you're living in Vrindavan, you're doing your bhakti bhajan, you're serving your family and your husband, wonderful children. And what I want to say, because you're asking the question, and I'm representing Guru, I'm representing Guru Tattva, I'm representing Krishna, I'm representing my Parampara and Advaitacharya, I'm in the Parivar Advaitacharya. So on behalf of all of them, I will speak personally to you. And if my answer to you applies to anyone else, then it's free. So I will say to you that your sincerity about your question, about your concern and worry for Vaishnava Aparad is undue. It's not necessary. You're being too critical of yourself and too hard on yourself. Because actually you're a very good devotee, and the whole point of your feeling that when a devotee makes advancement, well, let's see, you can only stay a minute or two in Braj with the mercy of Hari. So if someone is living 10 years in Braj, or 20, or 30, or whatever, how much mercy they must have from Hari. And if Hari says, yes, I want you to personally serve me and personally serve my Radharani, how much more mercy they must have. I'm sorry, I can't buy, on behalf of Bhagavan, I cannot accept your, I don't accept this. Your question actually indicates that you do have a taste for the holy name, and you do have great faith in Krishna and his name. Otherwise, you wouldn't even have this attitude or this type of sincerity about fear of aparad. Aparad is something, aparad is not so much about harsh words or, oh Prabhu, do this, do that, why didn't you do this, why did you do that, why did you take this, why did you take that. It's not all about hard words, it's not about rebuking someone, it's not about criticizing someone, not criticizing, but rebuking someone. Aparad is about inner attitude, our abhiman, and our bhav, our feeling and our mentality towards the Vaishnavas that we're dealing with, or towards Vaishnavas as a category. You may be heavy on a particular devotee, or maybe seemingly aggressive, or what you might call quote unquote offensive, but it's not really offensive. Because if someone asks you, what do you think of this devotee? I like this devotee, they're a nice devotee, but they're doing this wrong and this, that wrong. So this, we have to examine, before we immediately jump to the conclusion that I'm an aparadi. I mean, look in the mirror. Are you an aparadi? I can't accept it, because we can think, our mind is crazy. Everyone's mind is crazy. We always think, oh, this devotee's stupid, that devotee's stupid. But if someone asks you, what do you think? Actually, I respect all these devotees, but sometimes you have to see. Maybe I'm misjudging you, because obviously I don't really know you, but it's hard for me to believe in the particular Kala Desha and Patra, the time and circumstance and the person involved in this question, that you would be an offender to sadhus, or to be a victim of the first offense of the holy name, sadhaninda. Because even it said, there's one verse in the second canto of Bhagavatam, it's actually, if you look at the tikas in that verse, which I have done with my teacher also, it says, if one is chanting Hare Krishna and tears are not coming to his eyes, he's not crying, that means that he's steel framed. You maybe heard the idea. So many devotees have this idea, oh, I'm not crying, I'm not showing sattvic bhavas, I must be offensive. This is the general conclusion. But actually, this verse is not actually saying that, because many verses are, the verse itself is called Pushpavachan, like we say in the Shikshastakam. It says the flowery words of the Vedas. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. So kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. It's mentioned that Lord Chaitanya, he's mentioning this prayer, Nadanam najanam nasundarim. I have no interest in Kamani Kanak Pratishta. Nadanam najanam nasundarim. I don't want beautiful objects of this world, which means I don't want sense gratification, or woman or man or whatever, because that's the personification of want, embodiment of want or kam. I don't want wealth, I don't want followers, I don't want prestige, I don't want low puja pratishtha, I don't want any of these things. Nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadisha kami. And I'm not interested in the kavitam. Kavitam means the pushpavacha, pushpavachan. Pushpavacha means the flowery words of the Vedas. Pushpa means flower, vacha means words. Which means I'm not interested in all the Karma Kanda Vedas, which are offering so many boons and benedictions. If you do this tapa, if you do this homa, if you do this brata, then you go to Swarga, then you go to tapa, then you'll get these mystic cities. I don't want any of the offerings and the boons and benedictions of the Vedas. This is what this word kavita means, okay? So this kavita also means pushpa vachan. So many verses in the Vedas, Shrutis and all the Vedas, they're called pushpa vachan by the Acharyas. They are flowery words to glorify, to just show the extreme glories of what's being glorified. For example, if you chant Hare Krishna once, it will eliminate more sins than you can ever commit. This is not true. This is not satyam. It's mahima. It's a glorification. So that's why it says, without guru, bina guru, you cannot understand Shastra. You read Vrindavan Mahimamrita by a great acharya, Prabhupada Saraswati, or Hidharivamsh, or whomever you want to say, wrote it. It's like one of my line of gurus, one of my param gurus in my line of gurus, he said, because he gave classes in this Radharas Sudanidhi in 1950s in Radha Damodar Mandir in Karti. Advaita Vamshacharya Sri Ananda Gopal Goswamiji. And he was speaking and someone raised the question, well, who wrote Radharas Sudanidhi? Is it your Gaudiya Acharya Prabhupada Saraswati, or is it the Radhavalavis, Hit Harivamsh? Because you're all from Bengal, and you're a Bengali Brahmin, but we're Brijvasis. Because he was a Radhavalava follower in the audience. He said, we're Brijvasis, and Hit Harivamsh is our man, he's not a Bengali. We say he wrote it. And the verses are written on the walls of the Nidhiban by his followers, or Sevakunj. So what do you say? He said, with all respects to Sripad Hithari Vamsh Ji and Prabhupada Saraswati, I take the dust to their feet and hold it in my head and pray for their divine kripa. I really don't know, but I can say this, because he asked the question was that, who is the author? He said, I don't know. I can just say, if I'm walking through Bengal on a hot summer day, and I'm really hungry and really tired, and all of a sudden on the side of the road I come to a mango grove. And in the mango grove there's many, many trees, and each tree has thousands of mangoes, and they're very sweet and ripe. And I'll say, oh, Krishna's mercy. There's no fence, it must be public, free for the public. They plant on the side of the road sometimes. So I'll go inside and I'll take one of those ripe mangoes and I'll pluck it and I'll offer it to Krishna. Then I'll relish the juice of that mango and think, oh, this is so nice. And I just relish the sweet taste and juice of that mango. Now someone may come along and say, oh, do you know who planted that mango tree? Do you know who planted that tree anyway? Do you know whose field is this? And I'll say, I don't know. I'm just busy relishing the taste of the mango. So my answer to your question is, I don't know who wrote I really don't know who wrote Radharas Sudanidhi. Is it Harivamsh? Should we turn that down? You have a cold? Turn it down, maybe. She's not feeling good. So I don't know who wrote it. Hit Harivamsh. But I'm just trying to relish the sweet taste of it. Everybody in Radha Damodar clapped their hands because it was such a transcendental answer, avoiding all controversy.